What if Euphoria didn't just get delayed? What if it quietly slipped away while everyone was still waiting for it to come back? Not canceled, not officially ended, just slowly drained of momentum until the question wasn't, when is season 3 coming, but whether it even still matters anymore. Because the longer this silence stretches, the more uncomfortable the truth becomes. Euphoria didn't just pause. Something broke. There was a time when this show felt completely untouchable. When Euphoria first dropped, it didn't ease its way into pop culture, it detonated. The visuals were instantly iconic. The soundtrack was everywhere. Every episode felt risky, raw, and emotionally reckless in a way that TV hadn't really done before. And at the center of all of it was Zendaya. She didn't just play Rue, she transformed into her. Watching her felt intimate and dangerous at the same time, like you were witnessing something you weren't supposed to see. Almost overnight, the show became a cultural reference point. Fashion trends, makeup looks, TikTok edits, Halloween costumes. Euphoria wasn't just a series, it was a moment. That success bought Sam Levinson a lot of trust. Fans believed in his vision because at the time it felt singular. Messy, yes, but intentional. Provocative, but meaningful. People were willing to sit with discomfort because it felt like the story earned it. And season 1 ended with viewers emotionally shattered, but hungry for more. There was anticipation, not exhaustion. People wanted to see where Rue's story went next. They trusted the chaos had a destination. Then season 2 arrived and everything shifted. Instead of feeling like a continuation, it felt heavier, darker, more overwhelming. Rue's relapse storyline was brutal to watch. Cassie's emotional spiral dominated the season in a way that felt repetitive rather than revealing. Fezco and Ashtray's storyline took a devastating turn that left fans stunned, not satisfied. The police raid, Ashtray's death, Fezco's unresolved fate. That finale didn't feel like a cliffhanger. It felt like emotional whiplash. Viewers weren't left excited, they were drained. And that mattered more than people realized at the time. Because instead of ending season 2 with curiosity, it ended with fatigue. Lexi's play aired out everyone's trauma like a public spectacle. Nate turning in his own father added another layer of chaos. Relationships collapsed, alliances burned, and nothing felt settled. Fans argued constantly about whether the season was brilliant or just unnecessarily cruel. And that argument never really stopped. It just simmered under the surface while the show went silent. While fans were still processing that emotional overload, Sam Levinson shifted his focus. And that decision would end up changing everything. Instead of pouring his energy into Euphoria Season 3, he moved on to a new project. The Idol? On paper, it sounded like a bold next step. In reality, it became a disaster that rewired how people saw him entirely. Reports started leaking about a toxic work environment. Critics slammed the show's fixation on shock value. Storylines involving power, control, and consent sparked immediate backlash. Viewers weren't just uncomfortable, they were angry. The Idol didn't just fail. It reframed Sam Levinson's entire creative identity. Suddenly, people weren't praising him as fearless. They were questioning his perspective. Was the discomfort in Euphoria meaningful? Or was it always just provocation dressed up as art? That question spread fast, and once it was out there, fans started rewatching Euphoria through a completely different lens. Scenes that once felt bold now felt questionable. Choices that once felt intentional now felt indulgent. As the backlash grew, Euphoria got dragged into it whether it wanted to or not. The trust that had protected the show was gone, and behind the scenes, tension was reportedly growing where it mattered most. According to multiple reports, Zendaya became increasingly frustrated with the lack of progress on Season 3. While Sam was busy with The Idol, Euphoria scripts weren't moving forward. Meetings were allegedly called, questions were asked. Why was the show that made him a household name being sidelined? What made this even more significant was how clearly the public drew a line. The backlash landed on Sam, not Zendaya. Her image stayed spotless. Insiders reportedly made it clear that fans were turning hard against him, not her. and that distinction changed the power dynamics completely. Zendaya wasn't just the star anymore. She was the anchor. The show simply doesn't function without her full commitment, and everyone involved knows it. And she wasn't the only one quietly stepping away. One by one, cracks started appearing in the cast. Barbie Ferreira's exit raised immediate red flags. Kat Hernandez was a fan favorite in Season 1, praised for her confidence arc and relatability. But by Season 2, her screen time had been slashed, and her storyline felt disconnected and unfinished. When Barbie later explained that Sam writes from personal relatability and no longer connected with Kat's character, it confirmed what fans already suspected. Creative alignment was breaking down. Her departure wasn't dramatic, it was quiet, but it said a lot. Storm Reid followed not long after, confirming she wouldn't be returning as Gia. She expressed gratitude and appreciation, but the timing raised eyebrows, especially since earlier interviews had suggested excitement about returning. The long pause, the shifting tone, the sudden exits, none of it felt coincidental anymore. Then there was the devastating loss of Angus Cloud. Fezco was a core emotional pillar of Euphoria. His presence grounded the chaos. His absence changed the equation entirely. Many fans openly said the show wouldn't feel the same without him, and that grief layered onto an already fragile situation. Even if the show returned, it wouldn't be the same ensemble. The chemistry that made Euphoria work was thinning fast. As cast exits stacked up, the delays became impossible to ignore. Season 2 ended in February 2022. At first, fans were told to be patient. Then came vague promises. 2023 passed. Then it was 2024. Then 2025. And finally, whispers of 2026 started circulating. That was the breaking point. Viewers weren't just impatient anymore, they were emotionally checked out. The cast was aging out of the story. These weren't unknown actors waiting around anymore. Zendaya is a megastar. Sydney Sweeney is booked back-to-back. Jacob Elordi is everywhere. Their schedules are packed, their careers accelerating. Coordinating months of filming without a locked plan became a logistical nightmare. And uncertainty kills commitment. How do you clear your schedule for something that keeps shifting with no end in sight? The longer the silence dragged on, the stranger the rumors became. Reports surfaced about early Season 3 ideas that left fans genuinely confused. One alleged concept involved Rue becoming a private detective. That alone sent social media into meltdown. It didn't feel grounded. It didn't feel earned. Zendaya reportedly pitched an alternative vision focusing on sobriety, healing, and growth. A surrogate mother storyline that showed evolution rather than escalation. That idea didn't make it either. Once those details leaked, reactions were brutal. Fans weren't debating anymore, they were done. People started openly saying the show should just be canceled. That the longer it waited, the worse it would be. That Euphoria had missed its window. And honestly, that reaction didn't come out of nowhere. Season 2 was already emotionally exhausting. Non-stop darkness, non-stop collapse. Some viewers admitted they weren't sure they could even sit through another season of that intensity. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The delay itself has done more damage than any plot twist ever could. Culture moves fast. Trends shift. What once felt daring can start to feel dated. The Euphoria aesthetic that dominated social media now feels like a snapshot of a specific era. And while some fans are still holding on to hope, many have already moved on emotionally. TikTok is flooded with people venting, not theorizing. That's a bad sign. At this point, Euphoria is facing a problem that no amount of shock value can fix. Trust is fractured. Momentum is gone. Creative alignment appears shaky. And the one person the show absolutely needs, Zendaya, no longer feels guaranteed. Reports suggest meetings between Sam, Zendaya, and HBO executives grew tense. Damage control conversations that ended without resolution. That alone tells you how serious things got behind closed doors. So now the question isn't just whether Season 3 will happen. It's whether it can ever feel like Euphoria again. Because the magic of that show wasn't just in its visuals or its controversy, it was in timing, chemistry, and emotional investment. And those things don't wait patiently, they fade. Season 3 could still happen, cameras could roll, episodes could air, but after everything that's unfolded, it might land very differently. Not as an event, not as a cultural reset, just another show returning too late, carrying too much baggage. And that's the quiet fear fans don't want to say out loud. Euphoria didn't just pause, it aged. And whether it can survive that might be the real story.